Hello, friends and colleagues. Gus Prestera here. I want to talk to you today about leadership traits, and in particular, the desirable qualities that we're looking for in a leader. How do we help somebody figure out whether to, what they have? Take stock of that. Take inventory of those qualities to see how they're perceived as leaders. Are they perceived as this type of leader or that type of leader? Are certain strengths of their personality types and their qualities coming out in their interactions with their colleagues, with their employees, with their bosses, with their customers. All that is interesting stuff to know and can really help somebody with their development plan, especially if they are an emerging leader who wants to become a leader someday. First line leader, middle manager, right? They want to grow in their careers. It's helpful for them to be able to see, to gain an appreciation for how are they seen by others as leaders. And so we've developed some tools around that. I want to share one of those with you today. And so I'm going to share my screen and pull up a couple of examples here. Over on the left side, we have a leadership traits guide. And one of the things it contains in there is a list of 24 desirable leadership qualities that we've identified with the help of a panel of executive coaches and leadership experts. We started initially with over 200 qualities. I think it was 278 or something like that, and that the team had brainstormed. And then we work with them through a series of exercises to narrow that down, to prioritize, to combine, and so forth. And we're going to get that list down to 24 of the top the leadership qualities that we look for in folks. And so we took those qualities then, and we put them into this leadership traits guide, which helps people understand those qualities, which is great in and of itself. But then we put those into a 360 survey so that now we can ask you as a participant to assess your own behavior patterns relative to these 24 qualities. We can ask your manager, of course, but we can then pull in perspectives from other people, your colleagues, your peers, who are on your team, your cross-functional colleagues, your employees, right, team members you have reporting to you, as well as customers, internal, external customers. And we can pull all those different perspectives together into a report that summarizes those 360 surveys. So what you're seeing over on the right-hand side is a mock-up of a report. Happens to be for Abraham Lincoln, right, our fictitious participant here going through this 360 process. And I've got this open right now to a page that summarizes what we call the traits map, leadership traits that it focuses on. And it has what we refer to as the blob, two blobs actually. I want to focus in on the blue blob right now. The blue blob represents your scores from those surveys, from all those different perspectives, your combined score for each of the 24 qualities. And each of those 24 is a different spoke on the wheel, goes around in a circle from 1 to 24. And each of the 24 falls inside of one of 4 quadrants. And those quadrants there, directive, influential, supportive, and careful, help to describe in general when somebody's very, very strong in these qualities, they tend to have this type of leadership style. And so if somebody's blob, right, their blue blob here was very thick and heavy up in the top left quadrant, we could surmise from that the way they're coming across to others is that they seem very directive, right? They're always telling people what to do. They're very assertive and kind of pushy, and they make stuff happen, which is good. It's not a bad thing, right? You may think of that as you might think that's a negative, but it's not necessarily a negative. We like leaders who can get stuff done, right? Make stuff happen. But we also like leaders who are influential. And if somebody's blue blob is very thick up in the top right corner, we can surmise that they have certain attributes that make them very influential. They're politically savvy, they're visionary, right? They're very good at helping others get on board with some sort of a vision or a mission and get on board with it and do something with it. So that tells us a little bit about them. Bottom right, as you can see in this example, that blue blob is pretty thick. And it suggests to us that Abe is very good at being supportive, or at least is seen that way by others, right? We don't know exactly. We can't get into his head and, point to a specific, set of schemata in his brain and say, yeah, this Abe is this. But we can infer from the results that he is at least seen by others around him, the people who work most closely with him, as being somebody who is a very supportive type of leader. So very genuine, principled, right? Somebody who's a nice guy, right? And who you'd want to have lunch with. And the bottom left is for when we see, big blue blobs there. It lets us know that this leader is kind of seen as a very careful, very data-oriented, analytical type of manager or type of leader, which is also good. So all four of these general archetypes are good types of leaders to be: directive, influential, supportive, careful. You'd love to be all four of them, right? But all of us are some combination of all four, but we're stronger in one area versus another, or two areas versus another, and that's just fine. And so this blob here just helps you get a sense for where you are and how you are seen in the grand scheme of things as a leader. So that's helpful in and of itself. And then I'll go to the next page where we have a more detailed breakdown then of the results, where we have the 24 desirable qualities ranked in order of your combined scores. And then the next column here, the blue column, shows the self ratings that Abe put down. So, for results oriented, he rated himself, rated that particular item as 10th on the list, and that sort of thing. And then to the right of that, we have Abe's manager, Dolly Madison, and customers. And then the next column is for peers, team members, cross-functional colleagues who responded. We average all of them together. And then the last one, not the last one, but the last of these three is for the employees, right? And how they rated them. So now Abe can get a look at this and see, do some people see me differently, right? Or is it pretty consistent that let's say being optimistic is something that everybody sees in me? Or is it just that some people see that? Maybe my colleagues see that, but maybe my employees don't see that, right? I'm showing a different side of my personality to different people, and that's normal too. But it's good to know that. And then you have your combined score and then deltas, right? You change over time. If you've done multiple 360s, we're able to highlight that. And then over on the right-hand side, we highlight the top trait, right? The one that really floated to the top. And we provide some dynamic text in the report that would give you some suggestions for how you can continue to leverage that strength, put yourself in situations where you can really maximize your effectiveness and the results by leveraging that strength, playing to that strength. And then on the flip side of that, what can you do with your lowest attribute, right? And how you can make sure you avoid leaning too hard on that attribute, and maybe do some things to strengthen that a bit. And it'll probably never become a strength, but you can at least mitigate it so it doesn't become a weakness and a sore spot for you that gets you into trouble. So all that, we're able to get from just a couple of pages in a report. And that's thanks to the responses that you're getting from your 360 participants, and very, very powerful insights that I think that you can generate from this type of report. We've been using it quite a bit as part of the Prestera Leader 360, but we also incorporate it into other surveys that we do for clients, other 360s that we do for emerging leaders, for more senior level leaders, for C-suite. So it's been really insightful and generating different types of results for those different groups that have led to really robust coaching conversations. So anyway, I'm not trying to suggest it's the only way. There are lots of different ways to assess these characteristics, but I wanted to share with you one way and a way that we're pursuing. Hope you found that helpful. Let me know if you have questions. Love to hear from you. Take care.